So we're down at the cows.ie tent and I'm joined by Alan Clarke of cows.ie. So Alan, look, I suppose dairy AI usage is up this year, but we know that, look, dairy calf birth registrations were down from the spring this year. So I suppose, what are heifer markets looking like?
So I suppose we see heifer markets generally that there's a lack of animals about the place, which has led to the price of animals rising. I suppose the milk price is just after dropping recently, but will that mean that the price of stock is dropping? I don't think so. Globally, we see that numbers all over the place are down. But it is great to see that the number of Frisian AI is back up, because Ireland needs that surplus of heifers, because with TB being the major issue that we see in Ireland, there is a serious lack of surplus stock for farmers to keep on going at the numbers they want to.
And I suppose, look, beef usage is slightly down this year as well, and sex semen is back up. So, well, sex semen is always going up, but dairy AI usage in general is up. So is that the trend that you want to see continue?
Yeah, I suppose for our job of exporting cattle and also, sourcing cattle for farmers in Ireland, we've seen that the trend has been farmers might just use sexed AI or Frisian AI on their own replacements, and then the rest they will put to beef calves, because maybe they don't have the labour to rear them calves. But we would always be encouraging to have more of them, because there is a shortage, and the prices are excellent for stock at the moment. So it is well worth the value. Maybe it hasn't been in the past to rear calves, but the value is so good now, it's well worth it.
I suppose, what would you say to a farmer that's kind of maybe short on heifers himself at home, or doesn't have heifer calves coming through, or enough of them? Is it to hold on and wait for in-calf heifers in 2 years' time, or is it maiden heifers or calves that you should be looking at? I know it's a difficult one, but...
Yeah, I suppose, look, of course, the prices of cattle at the moment is very, very high. So if you are a farmer that can, keep it going with his own calves, bring them into weanlings and bringing them forward, the way I suppose farmers originally would have done it before they kind of moved towards flying herds, we definitely encourage it, because there's no better stock than your own stock, to keep on going in these high price times.
Yeah, and I suppose, look, we kind of touched on it before we came on, that, like, should herds of kind of a high genetic merit be breeding those surplus heifers, and maybe, like, should there be contracts in place or something to, like, sell them on to have an arrangement there to sell on to maybe a herd that has a lower genetic merit or something? What's your thinking around that?
Well, I suppose Irish farmers are at the top of the game, in terms of what they're doing in terms of EBI, production figures. Guys have moved away from maybe having to use the jersey to get the solids. The Frisians at the moment are all getting, at the top percent, they're getting up to 9% solids. But them guys, the Irish guys, the lads who want to get in, the lads who want to expand, the lads who need better genetics, it would be excellent if there was a contract in place to get that top percentage guys, to get more of their stock, to the market, because that is what everyone in Ireland wants, no matter when they're starting or anything like that. They want that high genetic merit, and they're the guys that have it, so it would be excellent.
And you are working with the Irish Holstein Friesian Association in that kind of line to encourage farmers to breed those quality stock?
Yeah, so I suppose when we seen that the numbers were down, and that information came directly through us from the IHFA, we tried to set up a system with them to encourage guys to use sex semen more, on more of their heifers, instead of just the ones that they want to keep themselves. It's all about trying to increase the numbers in Ireland back up, because as we all know, the national herd is well down. And you see them figures falling and falling and falling, whether that's to do with obviously nitrates and everything else. It's about trying to increase, to keep the dairy thing going. Of course, the beef thing is also massive, but to keep the dairy thing going, we're going to need more heifers on the ground.
Brilliant, yeah. And look, I suppose, Alan, just I suppose from an export point of view with yourselves, I know you had a boat go out in January 2024 and another one this year. So do you want to talk a bit about that, Alan?
Yeah, so I suppose at the moment we're doing some large exports with to Algeria. So I suppose they've come to Ireland because our heifers are of the highest, fertility, size, strength, power. They really like what we're doing, the grass-fed nature of them, and they've performed exceptionally well over there. So we're doing another boat now of 1,700 heifers in October, and this seems to be a continuing contract. So, they're extremely impressed with what we're doing here in Ireland, and long may it continue that we can keep moving that forward.
Yeah, so Alan, look, positive outlook on the dairy sector from yourself, of course.
Very, very positive. You know, even though they're pulling milk price, the outlook across the globe is quite positive. So, yeah, you know, it is a good outlook. You know, there can be doom and gloom, you know, at different years in farming, but at the moment, I think it's going to be very, very positive.
Alan, thank you very much for talking to us today, and yeah, best of luck in the future now.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and we'll go back to the Agriland tent.